Welcome back to the Denizen Sucks podcast. We really do. This is episode 16, ladies and gentlemen, and we're really excited to be here
No,
today.
it's not. It's really not, though. We did 16 last time, Pete. We
Oh,
had a
nice.
whole
Yeah, so
Sweet
it's 17.
16 montage. God damn it.
All
Anyway,
right,
edit it
17.
out in post. Fantastic.
Yep, and we're here with the great Dan Zlotnick. Woo.
God bless Dan Zlotnick, who I know as a Westchester resident, as I think everybody in Westchester knows Dan Zlotnick, for God's sake, just a force up in these parts. I would say, just long time you've been doing it, and I think hardest working man in show business could be. I don't know. I feel like you. I am on the Dan Zlotnick. I'm grateful to be on the Dan Zlotnick email list, and I just feel like you have like what are you playing, like 500 shows a year or something, or what?
I think, well, last year I think I did 120. And Dave, I
Wow.
gotta say,
So
you are the
crazy.
you're the only person on the Dan Slotnick email list. So,
Oh,
I'm just, I don't know if you
I get
realize
updates.
that.
I don't know. I'm grateful for them. So,
Sending personal emails to you, Dave. No, but I actually, I'm in the process of cutting back, actually.
okay.
The, yeah, I
Yeah.
have,
So we'll go down to
as
like 400 a year. It'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm super grateful to be able to play a ton.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's very hard for me to turn people down, and
Right.
I'm very lucky to
We're
be in a
very
spot
grateful
to
that
do this.
you said yes to our podcast. Thank you very
Well,
much.
yeah, of course,
Yes.
of course.
Um,
But yeah, I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, and when she
wow.
was born, it just kind of you start to realize how many nights out when you're playing 3 or 4
Right.
nights a week.
Right.
You're starting
Yeah.
to miss bedtime. You're starting to miss all the
But at the
dinners and
same
all.
but at the same time, like they got an awesome rock star dad who can like clearly you just
Well,
like sing like you must she must know the repertoire and the
yes. Yeah,
yeah.
no, she
Yeah.
probably knows more music theory than I do.
Yeah, right.
No,
Right.
but when she was first born, and this was a huge benefit to my music life, was that I could take care of her during the day and then
Right.
go out at night and play. My wife and I never saw each other, so that was a little bit of a
Right. Yeah.
downside.
Right.
But in terms of spending time with her and getting to expose her to music, I did a lot of writing while I was with her, which was a lot of fun. I'd rather be on my guitar when she's crawling around than on my phone or working or anything like that. So,
We talking source of
um,
inspiration. We got some new daughter material coming up here or what?
oh
Like
yeah,
yeah.
there's actually, on my new album, she's got a couple spots. She's got a couple
Yeah.
vocal tracks on there.
Can I just
Some of
jump
them
right in
intentional.
a little bit to your content and say like the minivan song? I love that song. Like I will
Thank you.
say I think it's hard to do like that kind of a theme well and it crushes. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a true story. I was driving to a house concert in Delaware, and I'm on the highway, and I'm driving down the highway, and I'm looking out my window, and I'm seeing Toyota Siennas pass me by, Honda
Yeah.
Odysseys,
Yeah.
Chrysler Pacificas, and I'm doing
What are
double
you
takes.
sorry, what are you driving? I'm sorry, I missed
I'm
that.
driving a Nissan Rogue,
Okay.
which has gotten me
Not a
over
minivan.
200,000 miles. Not a minivan.
Not a minivan.
But
Yeah.
but I'm watching these and I'm going, I used to like, check out women and like now I'm looking at that and
Yeah.
I'm going, wow, that's a Toyota Sienna hybrid. I wonder what those people do. You know?
Wow.
So I kind
Yeah.
of I kind of voiced to texted most of
Uh-huh.
the song during that trip. And yeah, it's like a one chord song. So it came
Well, you got
out
the
and
whole like clap at the end and the whole
yeah, we had a little fun with that.
I saw the BTS. I guess, like, I don't know. I guess I'm a deep cuts Dan Zlotnick kind of guy, but I saw the
You
BTS
are.
stuff on that track. I liked it. Yeah,
The-
like with
Yeah,
the
you're
crowd out on the
the
lawn.
Instagram deep dive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little
Yeah.
bit of an
No, we had
Instagram
and
deep
that
dive.
was everything that we that I've tried to do with the album is try to make it as real as possible. Obviously, in 2025, 2026, when we were recording the album, it's hard to really, get everyone in a room at the same time.
Right.
But for that big chorus, I was like, well, we're playing a house concert. We've got 30 people here. Let's just set up
That's
some
awesome.
mics, go through the mixer, and which, just into my laptop, and they had never heard the song. I'm kind of guiding them and going, just
Yeah.
clap and say minivan and whatever, and it
Worked.
worked out. Yeah,
That was
we'll edit it in post. That was kind of my scheme.
exactly. There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
yeah,
No, it
yeah.
was awesome. Like it stuck in my, stuck in my brain. But I will say, like, the other guy that like Paul Simon, Graceland, got some of the
Mm,
same kind of themes of like that tune. I just love, you know, rock music is for the kids falling in it's Thunder Road is like rock. It's like falling in love from now till forever. You're not talking about
yes,
minivans generally. And I think to
right.
approach a topic like that is pretty rocking. Anyway, I
I
don't mean for the
appreciate
whole
it.
thing to be on this one tune, but I do enjoy that song.
Thank
Um,
you.
so like you're mostly around Westchester up here, like, but you
Yes,
do
yeah.
some kind of like touring.
Once in a while, since my daughter's been born, it's been harder to get away, but there's so many places in Westchester and so many great
I
music
know
fans
you've,
around
I mean,
here.
like you've found, like you've exposed me to places around my own neighborhood. I mean, I think that's the awesome thing about live music and
Yeah.
that whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's kind of this myth that Westchester's all about cover bands and tribute bands and all, and a lot of them are really phenomenal. But there's also so many music fans who really love original music. And
Right.
I always credit my bass player Al Hemberger with this. And we were playing in bars, and he's like, just play your originals, just play them over and over and
Right.
over again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people will start to latch on to them. And I played a gig earlier tonight, and by the end of the night, there were 7 or 8 people in the bar
Now, where
or the
were you
restaurant in front of me
earlier
at
today?
our place in Yorktown Heights, our
See,
place
he's
kitchen and bar.
by the way, folks, he says he's cutting back, but at the same time, he's like, "Yeah, I just came from a gig. I just unplugged actually."
Yeah,
Yeah.
you called me out on that.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. No, I mean, it's
But
awesome. I was talking you up a little bit on the tail end of the last episode, just like this guy is hardest working man in show business. Just like keeping us. I kind of feel like you're keeping a scene alive a little bit up here. It's awesome.
thank you,
With the
thank you.
original stuff, because I do. I mean, you say it's not like a cover band air. I think that what you're doing is a little special. Like I don't see a lot of people doing up here
Mm.
just playing, original material for, I don't know. I mean, you do. So you have such a spectrum of venues. You've done like
Yeah.
I saw you at the Paramount, which is like
Mm.
that's like Westchester royalty over here. But you also do like, you will play anywhere, I feel like, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
Um, and so,
Yeah.
but anyway, I have to believe that the people at like, I don't know, some of these venues you're playing or really just want to hear covers, but you're out there actually like,
Yeah.
actually delivering
And
original music.
yes, and I'm doing both at the same time. And that's what I think, that's what Al, my bass player, always said was like, people aren't paying attention. They'll look up when you play a Tom Petty song
A
or
hundred, you're right, right,
and it's great, but it's also if your music fits with that,
right.
there's no reason not to play it. And so by the end of the night tonight, there was 8 people there. All of them liked my original music and requested original songs.
Uh-huh.
And it
Yeah.
still feels like a bar gig in some sense, but I do at the same time feel a little bit more like I'm getting something out of it personally for my own stuff.
Totally. I was gushing a little bit at the end of the last. I hope you're not embarrassed, but anyway, I was saying like I kind of do feel like you've established yourself a little bit. Like you play with Mark Con. Like I feel like people who are passing through like on the bigger circuit, let's
Mm.
say, like a Mark
Mhm.
Con kind of figure, walking in Memphis to the people maybe not familiar. But like
Yeah.
they know, like if you're in Westchester, here's the guy. Like that's kind of I feel like a little bit your reputation around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes people just see my last name and they go, "Oh, that looks like unique or familiar or something,"
Right.
which I'll take. But yeah, I appreciate that. I think it comes with a lot of like just playing out, and I think
Yeah.
we just celebrated like 10 years from my first EP. It's like it's been
Yeah,
10
that's
years of
crazy.
playing
Yeah.
100 plus shows a year
You
and
got a
just
2.5 year
playing.
old. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like just playing and meeting people, and I'm
Right.
thinking about the people who have played in my band, and there's probably like a dozen people that have been in the Dan Zlotnick band, throughout these 10 years or so.
I feel like I'm monopolizing a lot of the I have other questions, but I don't know if Pete wants to jump in.
No, I mean it's all good. I guess from my perspective, um, Dan, I don't know anything about you or your music, which I guess
Hmm.
is kind of good in the sense that like Dave is your number one fan. So I guess we got his perspective, but I would
I'm
love to
sure
hear.
that's not true, by the way. I'm sure the man has a lot of number one fans
Well,
up
I
in West.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take
Yes.
it.
But yeah, maybe Dan, give us a bit of background for the viewers that maybe don't know you in terms of how you got into playing music. What's your primary instrument? Do you play any other instruments? And then maybe kind of like, yeah, what's the current makeup of the band, and what are you guys working on for 2026? I know that's a lot, but any
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah, and so I grew up in Westchester, and I was a big baseball player. So I kind of always dreamed of being a Yankees, one of the Yankees. And for my 11th birthday, my parents both had guitars hanging around the house, kind of like I do, just either on the walls or on stands in the
Do they
living room.
play and or
And yeah, my dad was in a band in high school, and my
nice?
mom played a little bit in college, but nothing too serious. But just because they were around, I always wanted to learn how to do it. So
Right.
my dad would come home from work and would teach me a few chords and that sort of thing. And then for my 11th birthday, my parents got me my own Squire Stratocaster Mini, like,
Yeah.
the perfect size for my 11-year-old hands.
Mexican strat.
And I think so.
Yeah.
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 And it was just kind of game over from there. If I was playing, Little League baseball, I would come home and I would immediately play guitar until I
Yeah.
fell asleep. So it
Now,
was,
like, were you like one of these like? I feel like because I do. I think I have a similar place in my band. I also want to talk to you about the Dan Zlotnick band,
mhm,
DZB. But singer songwriter kind of guy. But you
yeah.
have tremendous facility. I'm very impressed with your actual. Like I outsourced my guitar playing to a guy who actually like does the solos and stuff. But you actually like
Mhm.
rip some solos. Were you like one of these guys who was like studying solos and stuff?
Yeah, I would sit there, and like back in the day it was like Windows Media Player, and you put it on 0.5 speed and try to
Nice.
copy the Freebird solo or Stairway to Heaven or
Our
any of those.
demographic loves that reference.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's my demographic
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. God
But
bless.
um But yeah, I always considered myself a guitarist. I never felt comfortable singing, and I got to play college baseball. And I was in a band, I was in bands throughout high school. And when I got to college, I was like, well, I don't have time to be in a band because I'm playing baseball. So I started doing coffee houses, and my girlfriend at the time, her brother introduced me to the Avett Brothers, and I was like, oh, these guys are pretty
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
I started listening to Amos Lee, John Prine, and more of the
Right.
songwriter thing. So having that guitar background plus now the songwriting and kind of this folk side of things really is where I found like,
Right.
oh, I can put these two together and have a
Uh-huh.
little bit of this classic rock-ish sound, but with more, in my opinion, meaningful lyrics, more digestible lyrics, nothing about
Yeah.
like, Mordor and the Lord of the Rings, like from my Led Zeppelin days, but things that
I do
people can
love
relate to
ramble
in
on.
their everyday
I
life.
will
I
say
do too.
if that's
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. I think
Um,
that's my favorite Zeppelin tune, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great
It's a
one.
good one.
But yeah, and then, I started playing for myself, and I said, I'm a rocker. I want to play loud. I want to play the electric guitar. So I grabbed my drummer from high school, James Marciano, Somers High School, shout out. And then we went into the studio, and it was Al Hemberger's studio at the Loft Recording Studios in Bronxville. So he was like, well, I'll just play bass. And then from then on, the three of us were the band, and that was the Dan Zlotnick Band.
That was the
We had
band.
people sub in and out.
So
recently
I'm
we've
sorry,
added
you
John.
know both of them from Somers, or like from
Just James,
just
but
James?
we went into Al owned the studio to record an EP,
Uh-huh.
and then he was like, well, why don't we just get some gigs? And that was it.
That's awesome. This was what era? Like this is 10 years ago, you said?
Yeah, so this was
Like 2015,
2016.
2016.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
I
I got,
released the
can
first
I
album.
just shout out so like the number of musicians, raw talent from this town. There's something in the water. I got to tell you, there's
It's
something
true.
going on. Like it's
It's
crazy.
true.
I'm in my house. I have my house where I am right now, from a relationship with an awesome bass player. Just
Mm,
like one of the best bass players I've ever known. Good music
yeah.
department, I would say.
And and
Somers
it
High
was like
School.
the rock show and like just being able to get up and do your thing was
Right.
I feel like very helpful because some I'm sure there are schools where people are playing in their bedroom all day and they don't get a chance to go out and like we
Right.
did, like mess
Yeah.
up a Red Hot Chili Pepper song in front of 400 kids.
Right. Yeah. 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 Did you
Yeah.
do the talent show? And if
Oh
so,
yeah.
what was the song? What did you play?
Ooh, I mean
High
there were a
school
bunch.
talent show now.
We might have done we might have done some Rage Against the Machine
Oh,
when I was in high school.
bold
Nice.
choice.
I know, I know, I know. Definitely some Chili Peppers. We had a couple originals that we played, and I remember going into it going, we don't know "Girl at the Rock Show," so we're not going to win the rock show. So,
I mean, I
uh,
gotta say, like Chili Peppers and Ridge. Well, how? So then the next question is like, how did you did you rise to the level?
we were good,
Yeah.
but
Okay. I'm sure
we
you
were
were.
not. We were not going to bust
Right.
the Lauda
A
meter or whatever
riot
they
did
used
not break out,
to.
as I recall.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just having those opportunities and being able to get in front of people and go, wow,
Yeah.
like this is kind of fun to get on stage and do this as terrifying as it is at the start.
Right.
It's not too bad.
Um, I had like a prepared question, but I kind of actually want to know your answer. You're such a live music guy. Like you
Hmm.
play so many like I have a hard time describing, like it's very impressive, I gotta say.
Thank you.
Uh what is your feeling about like what's going on with music right now, and like I feel like the movement inward into the like does live music, like how are your shows going from when you started 10 years ago? Like what's
Hmm.
the trend lines and stuff? What are you seeing? And like, I don't know. What are your thoughts
It's
on
a
what's happening?
To me, it's a little bit of like a total crapshoot. Like if I book a gig, there's a little bit of people really wanting that interpersonal connection that's
Right.
in person.
Yeah.
So we have very strong DZB fans. Like, I call it the couch crew because it's like the vibe is like we're hanging out on a couch.
I don't see you that often, but just know behind the scenes, I'm
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like there's a very real so many of our fans like I text with. It's not this like grand thing that I
Right.
feel like, oh, there's hundreds of people coming to our shows. But when we get 20, 30 people at a show or six people at a restaurant that I'm playing, they're going to hang out and we're going to talk about my daughter and we're going to talk about their kids and
Right.
what's going on in their work life. It's like there's a
I have,
very
I
real
I will
connection.
say, like in my interactions around, like I know people independently entirely of anything we would, because I know
Mhm.
there's a little slight connection, but not really. But
Mhm.
people have heard of you, and like you're a little bit of a real celebrity around these parts. I mean, like, yeah, a
Thank
little
you.
bit. I don't want to, like,
A little, I would say a very little bit. I can still go grocery shopping. Although
no, right. But
if I ever
yeah,
do see someone that I know while I'm grocery shopping,
yeah,
specifically from music, the first person I call is my wife. I go, yeah, you're never gonna believe this. Someone stopped
yeah,
me in the grocery store.
yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
no,
awesome.
it's about like to me, I have tried to not become obsessed with tickets sold or
Right.
butts in
Yeah.
seats or Spotify streams or all that stuff because it has and will continue to make me crazy. So
Right.
getting to a show and going, wow, I could name every person here and maybe something from their life,
Right.
whether it's their kid's name or what they do for work or,
Do you think
it's pretty
playing the
cool.
shows like we've sort of had to duck under a little bit our band like since the pandemic interrupted
Mhm.
a lot for us, I would say.
Yeah.
And ever since, I don't know that our live presence has, we're trying to make it up online a little bit. Our live presence isn't maybe quite what it was. But, I do wonder, like, does that affect your songwriting, the content of what you're delivering? Like, do you feel like it makes you sharper? It's a little bit how I feel about like not playing live as much as like, well, we're not getting together as often. We're not like, do you
Hmm.
think it like keeps you have also very prolific output, I will say, it seems to me. I mean,
Thank you.
relatively speaking, yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, do you think the live show helps with that or
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to just knowing like if I'm writing a song, how is this going to sound live?
right?
One of the things that I find very helpful is to record even a voice memo and just like put it on in the car while I'm driving,
Yeah.
and then just to try to put myself in the audience's shoes. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think there's some of it that's like, you know, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword where if you're performing live, you've got to be promoting and you're making your own graphics and all this
Right.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
like there's not
Uh-huh.
as much time to just like sit and write and work on music or record or whatever you feel like doing. So, there's kind of two sides of it. I think it always helps, especially the way that I write, which are I think of like little scenes in people's lives, whether it's my life or someone else. I think it always helps to talk to people and get their story and go, what was their day like? That doesn't ever feel like it could be, harmful to creating a story in a song.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I like also how you like again, I'm revealing myself as the biggest Dan Zlotnick fan out here, but no, you have great content about like explaining the meaning of a song. That's kind of cool.
Mhm.
I've seen some of that stuff you do. I think
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, and that came from like my at one point obsession with Spotify listeners. Because
right,
you have the Spotify art for artists app and it tells you how many people listen to this song on this day in
yeah,
this country or this state, and it's like, is that the point? First of all, I'm not
right,
making any money
yeah,
from that anyway. So you
yeah,
might as well connect with the meaning of the song. And because I released an album in January that has 15 songs on it, I know that people don't digest albums that way
yeah. I know it's so
for
it's
the
kind of.
most part.
Did you? I'm sorry to get really like technical,
No.
but like, did you drop it all at once, or did you like? I feel like Spotify wants you to release it every 6 to 8 weeks, have a single you're drop.
Yep.
Like this is something, I miss the days like here's an album drop, here's an album. This is
Yeah.
like a stake in time in my life, and this
Right.
is where things meant. And this is what they meant at this point, like
Yeah.
Springsteen for whatever, like like this is Nebraska.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Totally. Yeah. So we did 6 singles leading up to the album. It was like 6 singles
yeah,
every month. And it started with 3 singles. And we were okay. And this is when I say we, it's me and the band talk about it, but it's generally comes down to my decision. That's why I'm a Bruce Springsteen fan. It's like after high school, I was like, any band that
yeah,
I'm in is going to be Dan
he,
Zlotnick and
yeah,
Woody,
yeah,
so I can make the decisions.
fair enough.
But I also have a publisher that's great, and we work with like, what's the trend at the time. So
Right, right.
I think by having an album that was 15 songs, we weren't going to do 15 single releases. That would kind of be insane, and
Right, right. But
I think
that
would
is what
drive people
that's
insane.
what kind of makes sense to do. If you have the
Right,
content and you're a
right.
slave to the algorithm, that's
Yes.
actually what make if you but like I think that there's a tremendous aesthetic suffering from that.
Yes. And for me, it's like I can still call attention to each individual song, and that's kind of what I've been doing. It's kind of having a song of the week for my email blast or for my Instagram. It's like this
Right.
is the theme of what this song is as part of this larger album, but
Right.
not you have to wait now 6 months to hear the song that fits perfectly right after it. You know, so
Right.
it's like a little bit it's presented in a way that anybody can listen to it however they want, whether it's just picking out singles, or just going straight through for 50 minutes, which I don't even know if I've done that with my own album.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
So you just dropped it in January, you said.
Yes. Yeah. It's called Asking for a Friend. And yeah, it started as 9 songs. And then slowly I was like, I should probably add these couple songs. I
it
should
was the
add this one.
friend, wasn't it?
It was the friend. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, Dan, uh, I want to make sure we don't get cut off because I guess I shouldn't. We do the cheap Zoom over here, Dan. Okay, we'll edit that out in post too. But I will say we do the cheap Zoom that cuts us off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted
This is
to.
it. It's been a pleasure, guys.
I just wanted to make sure we get time to thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on. And
Definitely.
I wanted to end with just and take your time. We have some time. I don't want to rush things
Okay.
either. We're fine. But I just wanted to give some time to top 5 Dan Zlotnick tunes that you
Oof.
want people to hear.
Whoa. Man, I'm gonna have to pull up my Spotify.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right.
Maybe
Let's start.
top 3. See what you can do.
Well, I think we'll get there
Okay.
and this is what's like. I was actually talking to people about this at my gig. It was like, I really like my own songs. I'm happy about
It's
that.
fine. They're your children.
Yeah.
You got to love them equally. Do you love them
Right.
equally?
Right. Some more equally than others, but
Oh, Dan.
all right, number one, right off the bat, we're gonna go with "Asking for a Friend." That's the title track to the album, and it's not only a song that came out as easily as
We're
any
starting
other
at 1,
song that's
so
ever
we're
been.
going down.
I think so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, maybe like no order to
All right.
these.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a Friend. The story of a friend just losing touch for no good reason, and not sure how I felt about it. So Lucky is a song from the perspective of an old person being with the person that they love the most for their whole life. So that's a good one. Without Fruit. That's one.
You didn't
Also,
have you needed bananas or something.
yeah.
You were running out.
Also,
Something
well,
happened.
the way that one ended up on
Hey,
was
can you pick up some bananas? Sorry.
on a previous EP, the songs went, "I'm not leaving without fruit," and it's like that's what people say when they go to the farmer's market. It's like, I'm not leaving without. Anyway,
Nice.
then I'm gonna go with Wednesday in Brooklyn. Wednesday in Brooklyn it's also on the new album. That was a song that was a commissioned song. Someone had hired me off the internet to write a song for their husband.
Oh, wow.
And sent me their vows and everything. And I turned it into a song, and it just related so heavily to their story that it really spoke to me. Turns out they live in Croton, 20 minutes away, and now we're all friends.
They're part of
It's
the
like
they're part of the tight-knit
and
Dan
that's I
Zlotnick
think
community up here.
I think
That's so
what
cool.
also that song represents is
That's so
that
cool.
there's
Did
like
you
future for
did you
a
play
kid.
it at the you played it at the wedding?
Oh, not at the wedding. This was
Okay.
an anniversary song.
Well,
But
that's
I played it
so
for
cool.
them multiple times. It's
That's
very
awesome.
special.
That's very cool.
What was that? That was 3? There was 4? I think I got
That
one
was
more.
4.
I think that was
was
4.
4.
Yes.
Let's keep track. Let's see. I mean, I think the rest is going to be up to your viewers to figure out what that 5th one is. I also just can't think of any of them.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. If you
Sympathy
can
for the
find
devil.
just
Yeah.
any title to any song.
Okay.
Just put it in the comments. I want to try to find my Spotify. right now.
I'm throwing the minivan song in there. Okay, I'll
Minivan
fill
song's
the.
pretty good.
I like that song. That's a good tune, man. That's a good
That's a
tune.
fun one.
Seriously,
I'm
that
fine
is
with
the
that.
Call Me Al of our generation.
Yeah,
Thematically, I just love it,
yeah,
man. I love
I
it.
love it. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you so much for being on the Denizen Sucks podcast. And
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
yeah, do you have any upcoming shows we should know about that I
Um,
should know about?
I think just go to danzlotnick.com because I don't, I don't even know when I'm playing.
Oh, he has
Uh,
too many
that,
dates to keep in his mind. That's the problem.
it's a lot of local stuff. So if you're in Westchester,
Yeah,
shoot me an email, get on the email blast. You and it'll be you and me and Dave on this
yeah,
email chain.
exactly.
Uh,
Perfect. Fantastic. Thank you so much,
uh,
Dan. Awesome.
Thank you guys. I
Yeah,
appreciate
Adios.
it.
man. Thanks, Dan. Pleasure.
Great to meet you guys.
Bye bye.